Hello and welcome back to our review. I think we're going back to the airport really because there's a lot of things been happening. FlyBe, within 2 days of launching, it's very, very close. There's competitions going on all sorts of places to win tickets to Heathrow and Belfast. Pull out. And it seems to me it's pulled out for the whole of the 6-month period or whatever, the winter schedule at least. I mean, who knows where it's going? Your thoughts on anyway about having them, and I know you're quite interested in what's going on with Heathrow anyway because of the Logan Air and their sort of subsidies or whatever it is called.
Yeah, I mean, let's break the fourth wall a little bit. This is filmed on Saturday.
Yeah.
There was an agreement in place for 6 months, which we were told it was understood was to the end of October, where the Logan Air route was being underwritten. We don't know how much that's cost us. We don't know if it's been a success. We couldn't get Logan Air to confirm it was still. We tried the other week. We couldn't get Logan Air to confirm it was still committed to the route. Now they're still taking bookings, and with FlyBe pulling out, it's more than likely that they are. But we couldn't get that. With FlyBe, I find it very odd. Why has this not affected other parts of their systems? Were they only getting 2 or 3 planes for the sake of here?
Right, because they said they hadn't got a plane, and I don't think normally 2 days before a service starts, they suddenly realise they haven't got a plane. Yeah, it doesn't quite add up to me, but, hey.
It's not quite like it's December the 23rd and you've suddenly remembered it's Christmas in 2 days. Like, I need to... You dash them around in town looking panicked with tea towels and stuff.
Me.
So, what do you think? I mean, you can't find out. The government won't answer the FOI. It's our money, and they keep telling us, and many ministers keep saying we'll be open and transparent with everybody, and things like this surely should be in the public domain. I see their reasoning for saying they shouldn't, but that should just be a fact of life these days. You should be able to FOI almost everything.
Well, I think, there's this thing, I kind of get the thing with commercial sensitivities and all that, but at the same time, I'm not asking them how much money they're going to spend next month. I'm asking them how much money you've spent to this point. And that is ultimately taxpayer money, which is being underwriting this.
And the bigger issue would have been once a second company was on the Heathrow, would they want a bite of this money that was available? Because obviously the loading factor potentially would go down once you've got 2 operators, which therefore could put the amount of money the government putting in to the Logan Air service, it could go up, couldn't it?
Arguably. But again, this was for 6 months and it runs out in just under 48 hours, and we don't know. This is what we were told. This runs to the end of October.
But now we don't know.
We don't know if this is carrying on. We don't know if it's needed. So you sort of start looking at it going, well, what is happening? We assume the route's still going ahead, as far as we know, from November 1st in terms of Logan Air. They're going to still keep flying. But in terms of whether are we still supporting this route, how much have we supported the route? I mean, I've been on the Heathrow flight a few times. It tends to be quite full. And
that is something over 70% or whatever. There's a number in there, but we're guessing, aren't we?
Even at the time, if you think about it, it wasn't the DOI that told us about this. It was the Enterprise Minister, as was then Dr. Allenson before he regenerated into the Treasury Minister. And he said in the Tynwald Committee, I think he gave a bit of an arbitrary figure, but he said if the plane's got 75 seats and we fill 50 of them, then we don't have to... Something like that was the sort of thing that he was saying. So then when we asked Enterprise, they said, the DOI handling this. So then it became a DOI thing, and then we got this thing back. But again, it's our money. That
open and transparent. I keep saying this because
open and transparent.
Laurie Hooper put it on this thing the other day. We should all be open and transparent. I'm going, well that's an interesting thought.
If you look at the Enterprise, I mean, you've got the thing there, of course, we've got the TT consultation. They say, here's what we're going to do this for TT next year. And there's a very poor response to their original consultation. They have another one. The public go, well, we don't want racing on Sundays. We don't want more race days. I
want to come back to that subject probably because that is another thing. But back to the airport. We've also got an Open Skies sort of documentation that was floating around and all that. We were told it was about to come out, but I know you're on this one because it hasn't appeared. What's going on?
Well, apparently it was due. It was this one that we knew. I think this went back to Howard Quayle announced this one originally.
Right.
If you remember, he said at the time, I expect a review of Open Skies. So we sort of got to the point where a review was then launched under this administration. We knew it had been floating around for a while. Asked where it was going to be. Okay. It's due out very soon.
Because we do have Open Skies, don't we?
Yeah, we have Open Skies.
But they're talking about making it now
we don't know.
Semi-open or something. It's
we don't know.
Hybrid.
Weirdly, it was sort of done at the same time that Gary Cobb came in as new airport director. And I don't know what involvement he had with the report at all, but it seemed like a very weird time to bring out a report like that. So the report's now gone, and it's lost in the fog somewhere. So it
got within days of being released, isn't it?
Well,
it was written,
yeah.
and presumably Council of Ministers has seen it,
And then
it was coming back to us to be told it was presumably coming into the public domain at some point, and then nothing.
We don't know where it is. So,
well, we've got a new minister. Maybe, presumably, there's potential that the new minister doesn't like what was done by somebody else.
It could be that. It could be the airport director doesn't like it. But then all of a sudden, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. There's various things that could have fed into this. But ultimately, you've then got the situation where they're going arm's length at the airport, and they're going, "Oh, this is back on the table," which we'd all forgotten about for the past 2 years because COVID, and we never paid any attention to it. But now it's back on the table. We'll tell you in April. So does this mean this report into Open Skies is not going to be back until April either? Because, I mean, you know.
But also, is it the same report, or will it be completely starting again to fit the new regime?
If I can sort of defend government here a little bit, which is most unusual for me, there has been such huge uncertainty, hasn't there, around the whole concept of accessibility and viability of flight services to the Isle of Man. My guess, and I know less than you about this, and you're sitting there saying I know little, is that the whole issue about uncertainty is playing into this whole issue very heavily, and perhaps a little bit of patience to see where it washes out on might be helpful.
But what's it?
Well, I mean, it struck me as I was thinking about, because the comparison is Jersey, I suppose. Jersey has Open Skies as well, but they actually have a very similar thing to what we do, in that they have a contract for the Heathrow route, which they are committed into doing, so on that flight. In a sense, the island already has a slight deviation from Open Skies course because we have patient transfer. So we have an airline which is committed to provide a certain level of service to Liverpool.
Correct.
So I wouldn't be amazed if what comes out eventually looks like Open Skies but isn't quite Open Skies, because at the end of the day, people want the Heathrow route and they want the connections that are going to come from here, feeding into hub airports. But then you got Dublin as just... They've announced that as Dublin.
That's doubling up. It's 2 a day now. That's good news. But it's Emerald and not... It's Emerald for
it's
Aer
Emerald
Lingus.
for Lingus, but you can book the whole thing from Aer Lingus, I believe, so you can do that. Which is opening up, and their whole thing was what's opening up into America, because you can go through us and all this, that, and the other.
Oh, it's great through
so it's like,
Dublin.
Oh, that's brilliant. Because you get off in America, you walk
I know.
Other airports are available.
I know, but you clear customs in Dublin and you become on American soil and all that, and you come as a domestic thing. Trust me, if you're going to go to America, that is, in my view, a fantastic idea.
So I think that's one of these where there's been such a fixation. This is my own everything. There's been such a fixation on the Heathrow route, and I've been as guilty of it as anything. Then this Dublin one opens up, and they're going, we do have to remember at times as well, Heathrow's not the only place we can go. So if this route needs supporting, then the government needs to make a decision on that. If the route doesn't need supporting, great, we've got a viable route. But if it's a case of the route needs supporting because it's badly needing supporting, which I don't believe it actually is, but we don't have the definitive answer to say either or.
Does this raise a question that's, I mean, I'm not saying it is, but other routes might also have subsidies that we don't even know about? I mean, is it potentially there, or do you think, because this one was made public that there was a subsidy, at least there was, the government did say they were sort of helping out if necessary.
I mean, I've never...
Because it does open the can of worms, doesn't it?
I've never heard anything to say that they are, so I don't believe they are.
The airport director did allude to, I think everyone does it, they get a little holiday, if a new route starts, they can have a little bit of a discount or something to help them in their first year or something. That's quite normal practice, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing today is that someone's looking at doing a route to Jersey.
Oh, yeah, Blue Island.
So how that would work, we don't know. We'd have to see how that plays out. But so I think there's the dual thing here going on at the minute is they want new routes into the airport, but they're realistic about what we can and can't do here. We're never going to see the days where you have flights to Leeds, Southampton, Manchester, Newcastle all going out on the same day. It's just not going to come back because we're going to feed into these hubs in the UK. But underneath that, there still has to be a transparency about what it's costing the taxpayer to run the airport. And also, if we are supporting routes, which we know there's one that we are, we don't know. There's nothing to suggest that they are doing the others. But
you did an FOI, didn't you, to find out what was going on? But you rebutted on that, were you?
Yeah, I got the thing back saying it's commercially sensitive. So then
you take it to the next stage, though, don't you? Then
I've appealed that. Yeah,
because normally that can bring a conclusion quite often, would you say?
Typically, you appeal it and you get it back saying, well, we've looked at it, no. And then you go to the Information Commission and try again.
Yeah.
And you try that, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But got to try it somehow because there doesn't seem to be an appetite from Tynwald members to ask for it. So,
there you go. Chris, come on. You've been very quiet in this section. You fly a bit, don't you? use the airport?
Not at the moment, I don't know.
Oh.
No. The last time I went to the airport, I got an injection.
Oh.
It wasn't.
Now that is a long time.
It wasn't a flight. No, I'm.
Okay, but this thing about open, honest, and transparency, and what's going on there. Does it not need that we should know exactly what's going on?
I'm on this one. I'm just going to be a little bit more patient, because once one has seen the difficulties that UK airports have been in, difficulties airlines are in, difficulties we've got here, and I think we just need to hope that there's a determination here to try to end up in the right place, and that right now there is just too much uncertainty. Who owns the airline? Is the airline going to survive? It's not an absolute steady state environment. It's a situation of real turbulence, and therefore I think I'm just going to hold my peace.
Very unlike you. I have to say, not having an opinion, that's very upset me.
Yeah,
Let me try this, just because
apologise.
we've only got a few minutes in this section left, and it's one that is coming out. I think this is the exclusive announcement. I interviewed June Watson for his year thing, and in it, he just happened to mention something, and I've been, by the way, trying to get him to do a full interview about it, but unfortunately he's been off the island and not feeling well. But the news is...
Has he got COVID as well?
I don't know, don't put words in on that. He wasn't well, I don't know what it was. Ready? After seeing as I was probably the person that initiated it in the very first place, they're looking at getting cameras in Tynwald and the House of Keys and maybe Legislative Council. They're going to put full-time stream of the thing. What do you think? This is something we should have had years ago, right?
I'm very glad that there's so much free parking out the side of the office there. Because they've got all that lovely government parking, so they've got somewhere for the makeup trailer.
I wonder where you're going with this.
It's brilliant. I think it's well beyond time. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I've been doing it when I can and question times, and I'm not even sponsored anymore. I'm just doing this on my own bat.
Your viewers are very glad that you do that, by the way. Both of them.
It is quite disappointing sometimes how little
we've
interest
discussed
it gets.
this, haven't we?
Wow, I'm getting a hard time. What do you think? Come on, cameras and all this.
Yes, I'm saying the Sam. It's past its time. I mean, it should be happening. We mustn't be precious about it. And as far as the members are concerned, if it shall we say encourages the quickening of the blood and a higher level of engagement than thus far we've had since the last election, then it's got to be a good thing. I hope.
I think. I mean, I say I do normally question time, but I don't do it all day because it would be crazy to do it. But if they've got a system that does it cheaply and effectively, then this is the thing. Because I looked at it a few years ago, and they had a report, and it was going to cost a lot of money.
Phenomenal, yeah.
But I mean, Jersey have got something. It's quite simple, but I was told it was quite expensive, but it's very, very basic. But I think you cannot beat seeing people answering questions rather than just hearing it. Don't you?
Well, you have the thing. I mean, look at trying to think of an example, which is being unfair to a minister. We've seen situations where when you read Hansard and you hear it on the radio or you hear it online, and you get a very different feel for what it's like in the chamber. When you can see members actively a bit uncomfortable, when you can see ministers aren't quite and they're shuffling a little bit, I just think it gives people a better understanding of what is going on within the government. And I mean, the only thing as I say is it needs to be quick. It needs to be a simple system. The UK have the House of Commons one. You can go online. The Chief Minister was doing the one with the Jersey Guernsey representatives over the EU, and they did one. You can go online. You can go, I want this clip to this clip. I want the audio, I want the video, download, all done. And that is basically just run as a live stream, so you can do it as they're talking. You can go, I want from the start of this until whenever they finish. So just let's make sure that the system they do, it's not just about having the cameras, it's about having the system behind that to make sure it all works in a way that's accessible for everybody.
And if we got some really lively debates going, which we're still waiting for, then it would be an opportunity to highlight that and see the engagement between 1, 2, 3 or 4 or more members who are motivated to engage. I hope it helps. I hope that happens.
And Wow, it's good that they're going back to revisit this. So I can't give any more meat in the bones. We'll be getting June Watson.
Is this an if button or maybe?
No. June Watson said this. They're looking, and it's more than looking. It's almost happening. Right. But I need to talk to him in full because when he brought it up in his 1 year thing, I didn't want to stop and go down that rabbit hole. I wanted him to keep going. But as soon as we finished it, he said, "I knew you'd be interested in that one." And then we've been trying to make a point to do a full interview about it. So we'll get it this week, exclusive. You can have the next go on it. Shall we pause there? I was going to say, back to what we talked in the past, especially with question time, it's that answer that they've got written down, the very first go. But it's after that first one, that's when you really can see the rabbits in the headlight with some of the people, isn't it? When they having to work out an answer on the fly.
I used to think there's... David Ashwood used to always be on to me. David Ashwood, when he was listening to someone's supplementary question, and it'd be the... Right, and it just sort of like, and you don't get that if you listen to it, and you just, it's entertaining on a human level. It's kind of like being at the zoo in one sense, but because watching people's interesting, isn't it? But you do sort of have this thing of where you watch the way they answer questions.
Okay, we're holding there.
Have a break.
We're having a break, and thank you very much. Part 3 coming up soon.